called All Is a Tome. Please welcome a legend of the game, one of the OGs, Santos Bonacci, everybody. How are you, brother?
Hey, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very nice. Great to be here.
What do you think? What do you think the planets are? They lights? Is it like it's not like dirt or like
No.
It's the planets aren't like Mars isn't like dirt.
No, not at all.
So they're not
What are
landing.
they?
So they're not landing Mars rovers on Mars, right?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
What are they doing?
It's fake.
Well, it's what they're doing is they're going to places like Greenland with very, very exotic landscape, and they're making it look like it, and then they're colouring it to look red and what have you. Wikipedia, if you go to Wikipedia, which I'm in now, and you look up under Saturn, in the first sentence it will tell you that Saturn is a gas giant. And then you go to Jupiter and it tells you that Jupiter is a gas giant.
Yeah.
Then you ask what the sun is, they say it's hydrogen and helium. Well, that's gas. Why is Venus or Mars or the moon where they landed, why is it an exception? You can see with your own eyes that it's a light. Ptolemy, for thousands of years before the Jesuit Copernicus turned up and made a spinning ball, was saying all of the 7 planets are entirely luminous. There it is. They are portals. They are holes in the sky. The great Italian genius Pierluigi Gina, who was a colleague of Marconi, the inventor of the radio, thank you very much, these two geniuses, he studied the sun and energy, and he's a stationary earther. He's insisted, up until the day he died, 2004, you see him on YouTube, a little Italian man saying, "La terra è ferma." He says, me and Marconi discovered that the Earth is stationary. It doesn't move. And then he takes you into his laboratory and shows you with strobe lights how you can prove quite easily that the Earth does not move.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
We're in it.
he said the stars are holes in the sky. So that got me thinking. The Greeks said that the stars are like nailed onto the firmament. The Babylonians says that the stars are glued onto like an aerogel sort of floating in space chandelier type thing where all the stars and the 7 planets are going around on the ecliptic. And they said that's like a chandelier and they're pinned to it. They're holes in the sky.
They say the sun is 93 million miles away. How far do you think it really is?
About
Or
60 to 100 miles.
60 to 100 miles away.
Probably not even. I might be so wrong. It's probably just more local and...
It looks really close when you look
does.
at it. It's like it's right there. How is it 93 million miles away?
Yeah.
Where'd they get that number? What are they trying to do? What is NASA trying to do with all their space science?
They're trying to make a godless world of...
Oh, my God.
Everyone is insignificant except for the rich people who've got all the money. They're significant because they're on the glossy magazines. You're not. And the sun's, and we're hurtling through space, and we don't know when it's all going to blow up, and blah blah blah. And there's
There's an asteroid coming. We need an asteroid tax, right?
Yeah, exactly. Give us some money, we'll stop it. We've got the technology.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Yeah.
they're saying there's aliens, so if there's other aliens, we're insignificant?
Are there aliens?
Well, it depends what you call alien. In Bhagavad Gita, they tell you that the demonic entities that have been under the Earth, there are 7 more planets that are discs.
What?
Yeah.
So dimensions.
In the 5th
7 flat worlds.
pretty much. Yes, 7
Like
levels.
a book.
So
Like
that's where
pages.
that's where hollow theory and flat Earth
Yes,
collide.
exactly. Or no, syncretize.
Yeah.
I've syncretized it in all my countless flat Earth videos that I've been making since 2015. I was one of the first ones that jumped on the flat Earth. And when you went to Google and put flat Earth in, guess who was number 1 for 2 years in a row between 2016 and 2017?
More than Eric
Yours
Dubé?
truly.
My
yeah,
man.
me. Yeah, for sure.
My man.
Because I was putting out so many presentations because I'm coming from the Jewish tradition. I'm coming from Bhagavad Gita. I'm showing how the Bible proves it with great etymological proofs. And no one else is doing that. Eric Dubé is not doing that. He's doing science straight. And all these other guys, they're just doing their, which is good. No
Right,
judgment,
right.
but I'm the only
all
one
good.
who can show you from astrology, from the Bible, and from the East, and from all traditions, how they all syncretize and concur that the Earth is a stationary horizontal plane.
I love
You have to do it like that. If you don't do it like that, you can't do it properly. You can't just have one angle. You can't just say, oh, all the scientific experiments that have been conducted prove, George Airy, James Bradley, Sunyak, Michelson Morley, they all prove that the Earth is stationary, and that's your one angle. You can't just have one angle. So if you're asking, what's the Earth? Well, it's just ether in a gross, more solidified form. So however you look here and whatever you do, you are the same in your etheric body, which is wrapped around you in an aura. Okay? So, for instance, if you get your arm amputated because it's so painful and it's got, whatever, some disease, years later you can still be feeling the pain from it, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why is that? Because the magnetic ether is still there. Your etheric hand is still there. You can't amputate that. And the pain is in it. Because if you've got pain here in your mind and physical body, psychosomatic, physical and psychological, then it must be in the ether as well. Because everything departs from there. Where we go wrong is we've followed materialist scientists like Newton, Aristotle and Einstein. They are materialists, not Plato, who was transcendentalists. So I'm a Neoplatonist.
But that was done on purpose, right?
Exactly.
We put these guys, I talk about it with the, they're called the Boule, and like they've created these guys in the black community to drive this group of people a certain way, to think a certain way, act a certain way. They did that with science. They took these scientists, they pushed them to the front, and they pushed the narrative that these people at the top wanted them to push, and the truth of the matter is that human beings are trustworthy people. Mm-hmm. They want to believe because they're good people, they want to think you're good people. You see that a lot with these prank shows, right? Really what prank shows are is you're just fooling nice people.
That's right.
And that's what science has done. Science has just fooled nice people who want to believe in their fellow man, to believe a narrative that very dark people want to push on them.
And they put stooges like Bill Nye, the liar guy, and Mike, what's his name?
What's his
Neil
name?
deGrasse.
Black Jesus,
deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Despicable Tyson.
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
Yeah.
Well, these guys are just their stooges and their voice pieces. What they want you to believe is that everything comes from the material substance, like a primordial soup, and then we evolved through that, and it was unconscious, but somehow consciousness and love and affection and music and all these other transcendental gifts that we have evolved from that, right? Whereas scripture and true science really teaches that everything that you see with your physical eyes that is electrical comes from counter space. Eric Dollard, Ken Wheeler, all of these great real scientists will tell you that. What is counter space? Okay. Fortunately, we have a really good example of how to explain how we come here and how everything comes here via the computer.
Yeah.
If you go and buy a hard drive, 50 gig hard drive, and it's empty, you've got the same brand and it's full. It's got 50 gigabyte of photos and movies and all sorts of stuff on it. Which one weighs more?
That one does.
Does it? No, it doesn't.
Come on, XG.
They weigh the same. And yet this one's full and this one's empty. How is it that a computer full of data still weighs the same? Because the files, they're in counter space. They're not spatial. They're zeros and ones. They do not occupy any space. You can't open a hard drive and say, oh, there you go, there's my photo.
Yeah.
Like a doctor can't open your heart and say,
Counter
there's
space.
that bad emotion that caused the heart attack. You didn't forgive your brother 10 years ago. Now we have to operate on your heart. Let's get this emotion and chuck it out. Let's check out your brain too and pull out all the bad thoughts. They're not there. Where are they? They're stored in counter space. So what happens is...
Where is counter space?
Exactly. Well, it's the transcendence. Counter space is not visible to us, but it is where everything comes from. And atoms, redshift, blueshift, are what brings them out into the material world by means of a vibration, a toroidal field. You see, a torus field, like your torso, it's redshift, blueshift. You see, there is a red and blue yin and yang, which is always a subset to the black and white yin and yang. And the red and blue yin and yang is on the Korean flag. The South Korean flag has the red and blue yin and yang. All they're telling you on that flag is that those are the two colours of polarity of the vibratory physical world. The magnetic radiation world is not physical. Magnetism, which is 10 billion times more powerful than electricity, is spiritual. Thank you, John Mawelski. Electricity is physical. This is electric. Your spirit and soul, magnetic.
Now, who created the sun, in your opinion?
There you go. Good one. So,
Getting points, dude.
yep, all the ancient
Got
Greeks...
questions.
Yeah, for sure. The sun is created... There's three suns, by the way. Like, there's three of you. Spirit, soul, and body. Okay? There has to be. It can't work any other way. Otherwise, you wouldn't be animated. You
The
can't-
spirit and the
what's-
soul are different?
Absolutely, they're different.
What's the difference?
They are
between-
one, but they are different. And as magnetism and electricity are one, but different, you have to understand this. It's like fire has always got light and heat to it. But heat is different to fire. I can get heat without a fire. But fire is never separate from heat. So fire is one, heat is another, but they are one. And light, which comes from fire, is also different, but they're all one. It's a trinity.
Yeah.
Fire is a trinity. Water the same. You get ice, you get water flowing, and you get gas. Well, there you go. Water is three states, so it's a trinity. Everything's a trinity, right? So who created the sun? Well, the Mithraics and the Zoroastrians, they taught that there are three suns. The one you see is the physical, and it makes the physical world. It's mental. Physical. Then the one behind the sun, they say the sun behind the sun, is the soul of the sun. Soul, S-O-U-L, is the same as soul, solar. Sol Invictus, it was called. The invincible sun, Sol Invictus. It's the soul of the universe. The spirit of the universe is the highest Godhead, the monad, the highest part of the Godhead. Okay? So, like a computer, the spirit is the file, because it is spiritual. You can't touch it. You can't touch those zeros and ones. They're in counter space. They're in crystals. They're energy. They're not even forms. They're just energy. And yet, RAM in the computer delivers it to your screen. So RAM, which in Sanskrit coincidentally means soul, Rama, Sri Rama, the god of the Hebrews, Ram,
So interesting.
means soul. That's your RAM in your computer. The theatre is the screen. That's your physical body. Right? So the computer's teaching you how everything works. Just your computer alone.
Is our computers like sacred? I mean, how do they control? How do they organize and store video that you can't see, that's not in there, but it delivers it to your screen? That's kind of magic, isn't it?
Yeah. It is magic. It is sacred. You hit it on the head. It is. This is amazing technology. They've had it all along because they know. Crystal means...
They don't want to explain it, do they? They don't really want to. Because no one knows how it works. No one knows how this goddamn iPhone works. It's magical. This is magic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting video from Australia?
Mm-hmm. Instantly.
Streaming?
Instantly.
That's magic.
It's magic. And you know why? Because it's magnetism. M-A-G, magic is M-A-G, magnetism. And mag in Sanskrit, mag in Sanskrit means to move. Thank you very much. So magnetism is the motion of white light which makes all of this theatre. Hence, that information that we're talking to someone across the world, the earth, and instantly it's going through the ether. That's why. It's going through the ether. They tell you that radio waves go through the air. They tell you that some other waves go through the water and everything. What about the ether? Einstein destroyed the ether, whereas guys like Tesla, Eric Dollard now, Ken Wheeler, they're bringing back the ether. Thank you very much. When they did the interferometer experiment, Sagnac and Michelson-Morley, to see if the Earth is moving, what they did was they made this big table that turns, and they had light projecting from this angle, contrary to the supposed motion of the Earth, and then one's going in this way, which is going with the flow of the Earth. And what happens was they shot a beam of light across to a reflector, split the beam, split it again, and then recombined the beams of light, and they didn't have any interference patterns, proving that if you've got a round table that is turning on a spinning Earth, and you have beams going across each other, split and then recombined with no interference patterns, then nothing is moving that is solid. It's the ether. They proved, Michelson-Morley, that the ether exists. Thank you, Pierluigi Gino, as well, the Italian genius, who said, the sun is rotating above our heads in the ether. And Marconi, they all knew this.
Are they part of the filament? I mean, like, are they inside it, or are they just part of it?
Inside. They are inside of it.
With the stars, or what are you talking about?
They
stars
are
are
on the
whole.
firmament.
The stars are on the inside of the firmament.
No, they're
Oh, the stars
are holes.
They're
Stars
in
are
the
holes.
filament.
They
When
are
you
in.
see a star, that's a hole in the filament.
Yes, but the sun is on the ecliptic under the stars. They are called the fixed stars. Then the 7 planets, we're calling them planets, but they are called the wanderers. The Greeks called them the 7 wanderers, okay? Because they also look just like the stars, but they keep moving, whereas, Taurus and Aries, their positions never move, and yet Jupiter's going through them every year, and Mercury and the Sun, they're going through them on the ecliptic. Well, those 7 planets, according to the Jewish system, like the Russian dolls, like an onion, layers within layers, we on the Earth, we are one layer. Then the Moon's layer, the Moon is the first portal. She's the first wormhole. She has the first sphere above our heads. I believe that's what they call the ionosphere, the troposphere, and all these spheres, and then they call them belts. Kuiper belt, asteroid belt, Van Allen belt, sphere, belt.
There's all
sphere.
the belts, man. Astro
Toroidal-
belt, Van Allen belt. Those are just.
The planetary spheres.
Oh,
They are belts.
man.
They are
Johnny's mind is blown. Look at him. I knew that. That's what those.
So, do you think Nikola Tesla figured out, or did he know that we were on some flat, motionless plane?
Oh, absolutely.
How do we know that he figured that out?
There was a quote from him that said that we're living in a realm.
Yeah,
It
I
is a
heard
realm. I'm not sure
Realm
whether it's
and dimension, realm.
How come there? He died like in 47 or something, right? How come there isn't any video of him giving speeches or talking or interviews?
exactly.
Why?
They wiped them.
I don't know. Possibly too dangerous. And you see, if you knew that the material model is wrong and the atomic model is wrong, it's a transcendental.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Yeah, if you knew it, then you would be free from this system in every way possible, as I am.
I heard Santos Bonacci a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, when I was first going balls deep into flat Earth and was just trying to get as much information as possible. And the one thing that I use, even to this day, I probably even used it on this podcast, this analogy. There's so many proofs that we're on a flat surface. There's so much. There's so many. Eric Dubé has like 200 proofs. He said he could do 200 more. There's so many. It goes on and on. But he had one that was it's like you just came up with it too, and it was awesome. Because according to mainstream science, there's four motions. We're spinning at the equator. The Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour. The Earth is going around the sun at like 60,000 miles an hour or something like that. 60, it's 65, 66, something like that. And then the sun is going around the center of the Milky Way at like 600,000 miles an hour, some shit like that. And then the whole entire Milky Way is shooting through the universe, shooting through space 1,000,000 miles an hour. So that's 4 different motions. That's like being on some kind like a Ferris wheel that's spinning, but that's spinning this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you look at time-lapse photography of the stars, you look at time-lapse photography of the stars, there's only one motion. It's just all the stars are going around Polaris. And he said, why can't we detect 4 motions? There should be, especially at the incredible speeds that they claim we're going. Right?
Exactly.
So I use that.
One.
That's the one you came up with that. And then and man, I've listened to there's so many awesome, brilliant people out there like David Weiss and Dave Murphy and Nathan Oakley, Nathan Thompson. There's so many good guys out there. Shit, they're incredible. We had David Weiss on this podcast.
And I listen to you. I have to tell you this.
What?
You are an intelligent, real good truther with a good heart, man.
Well, thank you.
Very intelligent. And everything you say is like the cream of the conversation. Even when you were talking just before about how things work, you know. So I got to pay back some due respect, you know. I'm listening to your show. You've got great people on.
Yeah.
And just the fact that you'll challenge these truths like the most despicable thing, the flat earth, you know, you get so ridiculed.
He's got like 3.5 more months until he's admits it.
I don't know. You might have got me today, dude.
Yeah.
I just gotta be honest with you. I just don't know if I was thinking about this when I was grabbing water. Like, I don't know if I have to start following your stuff and like the videos because I don't know if I'm intelligent enough to articulate what you just told us today. I gotta be like, I understand there's 7 realms and what these all. And it's just going to take time, but I'm there. I'm going to announce it.
You know what would be great?
I'm there.
I was thinking about this earlier.
I'm into the flat realms.
You know what would be easy to make? Just the best flat earth documentary ever. Just you, Nathan Oakley, just an interview and just, you know, soundbite, but just going popping back and forth. You, Eric Dubé, Nathan Oakley, Nathan Thompson, David Weiss, all the best guys, just boom. Because you guys, I mean, when I talk about flat earth, I sound like a moron. And I don't convert anybody because they're like, this dumb motherfucker got tattoos, smokes weed all the time. You know, used to be a strip club DJ for 10 years. What the fuck does he know? I don't convert anybody to flat earth ever. But it's guys like you. You're so well spoken, just ultra articulate, and so I think we need like the ultimate documentary with the top, get them all, put them all together, and do a high good lighting, good camera work, high level, boom, and you know, you do. It would probably have to be like a 6, 7, 8 part series, because to get it all like in 2 hours, like all your shit, and it would take forever. You know, it'd have to be carefully organized and put together. But I think that would be just amazing.
Wonderful. I agree. We could. Well, it's out there now. This podcast is going to go to the right ears, and the people
We're going to get out and
can do it.
Let me ask you something. Obviously, you're well read, and it doesn't sound like you just started doing research, but obviously, there's brilliant people all over the world. They just haven't spent any time dissecting all the space science. They just haven't. They're super smart people, and if they looked at space like a detective, and didn't trust anything coming from mainstream information. My question, anyways, is what year and what made you think like, oh shit, they're probably lying about what we're on? Like, when was that? When did you have that flat Earth realization? What was it?
2014, early on in the piece. People were sending me videos of the early videos on flat Earth. And
who were the first ones on? Was Eric Dubé the first one on YouTube?
I think they were.
I think he was the
Mark
first one, right?
They were the first ones, yeah. And the guys were making good arguments. How is it that a cannonball can shoot a cannonball up and then it falls straight back into the cannon if the Earth is moving and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And aeroplanes flying from Los Angeles to Paris, 8-hour trip, going in reverse, 8-hour trip. I thought about that and I'm thinking, wow, how can I ever disprove that? But I've had 4 years prior to that moment of teaching using the Ptolemaic stationary astrological model, but explaining it with heliocentric Copernican explanations. So people were seeing two things in my presentations. So because I was a truther, they were sending me the videos and putting me to the test and saying, well, hey man, if you're a truther, what about this one? So I had to research it, which I did, due diligence. And I realised immediately that the model I was using in all of my presentations was the true model, only I was explaining it with ball moving explanations. It didn't discount the material that I was doing. It didn't destroy it. It still stands. That I left the videos up, But now everything changed and shifted, and I can
Yes, it
explain
fits
it better.
in.
So it's more. So now you're like, oh, damn, they were telling the literal truth. You were trying to
Exactly.
translate it into the heliocentric model.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
And then you realize, wait a minute, there's no translation necessary.
It
They
fits.
actually meant this is a stationary plane. It was a literal thing. You were probably thinking like, that's like a metaphor.
For me, it was a smooth transition because it's already in my past works. But for people out there, like a lot of people really hated the fact that I, an astrotheologian or syncretist, would go to this horrible new world order teaching of the flat earth. One guy made a video and said, Santos has gone on to the flattest world order. I remember that word, the flattest world order, you know, and stuff like that. And a lot of people put videos out against me, and it was really bloodshedding
Why
days.
are people so angry about it? Why do they get so mad? And I mean, like, what does it upset them so much?
I know why.
I know.
What upset me was, dude, on my iPhone, I had a picture. Every time I turn on my phone, now it's my baby boy. But it used to be the default setting was the Earth, blue marble. So the first guy that brought it up to me was a guy named Manny. He's one of my students, and he's a total truther, just like me. We talk about a lot of shit. And he'd say, dude, you ever look into flat Earth? And at that moment, I wanted to break his sternum with my fist. I just wanted to punch a hole through his chest. And I thought I lost a soldier. I thought, like, dude, you better not ever
Stay away
bring
from
that
the
shit.
kids.
I go, my phone has a. I look at Earth every fucking day, multiple times. So shut the fuck up about that. I'm looking at a picture. And then another guy, Ernest. The guy goes, hey, you ever look at the flat Earth? Another student.
What year was that?
Like 2015, 16, something like
Okay.
that. And then Ernest, another student, he said, you ever look at the flat Earth? I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm losing, dude. I go, I gotta have a vetting a procedure here to get. Too many crazy people are entering my class. I gotta cut them off, and I was really angry. So then we battled. Like, I'm gonna prove it once and for all. He goes, do you think that picture on the phone? Do you think that's a real picture? Go online and see if that's a real. So I went on. I went to before I went online and went to Google and put pictures of Earth from space, I heard that argument before. I heard like, dude, just go put pictures of Earth from space. But it was just like in the back of my head. So once I began, my quest to prove the Earth was a ball, that was the first thing I went to. Pictures of Earth from space. And I thought, look at all these pictures going to come up. Earth going to be round, going to be a ball. So when they all popped up, I looked at it and said, everything was like NASA.gov, NASA. And I was already a believer that the moon landings were hoaxed. And I knew couldn't trust NASA. But I had no idea. I thought NASA was about the moon and that's it. I didn't know NASA controlled all space information. I didn't know that. But once I figured that out, I go, wait a minute, these pictures are all coming from NASA, the same company that faked, or the same agency that faked the moon missions? Like, we got a problem here. I didn't know it was all NASA. I thought NASA was just the moon. That's all. They just fucked with the moon. That was their responsibility. I didn't know space was their responsibility. And I'm like, right away that night, I'm like, oh no, we got a problem here. We got a problem here.
Houston?
All these pictures are coming from NASA? Mm-hmm. Ooh. And then real quick, I'm like, they do look cartoony. And then they admit it. You look into it, it goes, oh, these are composites. And then they admit it. They admit that they're not real pictures. I thought, oh, fucking shit. And they go, but we do have a real picture. We do have one. And we took it when we were on the moon. I'm like, oh my God, you have none. That means you have none. They said, oh, we have one. That's the one from the moon. I'm like, dude, you have none, man.
How about that video when the picture goes and it keeps playing out and they turn on the lights and it's just basically, they said it was Earth, but it was just through like the glass on the deck. It wasn't even a real picture.
Oh yeah, they were trying to make it look like they were like 200,000 miles or halfway to the moon, so they had to make the Earth look small.
Yeah.
When in real life, they were probably just 50,000 feet in the air or something like that. They're probably high altitude airplane or something like that, where they're looking out the window and you could see, because like all those fake ass pictures from the International Space Station, it's the same thing. It's always that same look. Those clouds, they look like you look like you're on a regular airplane. I'm on a plane every weekend, and those clouds they look exactly the same. They're not that big. If you were really like, what they say, 250 miles up or whatever in the International Space Station, those clouds would be fucking microscopic. Mm-hmm. but they're fucking big, and you could just tell they put a little curve, and then put like a little arms, like a little solar panel on the side. Every picture got a little solar panel on the side, so that you know that you're on the International Space Station. They all got the same shit, and it's the same, and it's the same little curve. And there's no, dude, the International Space Station's the funniest one. There's no video of them fucking putting it up there. There's no video of them constructing it.
Yeah.
Even that astronaut that was on Joe Rogan's podcast last week.
Yeah.
Joe goes, they go, oh, the astronaut goes, yeah, you know, when I first went on the International Space Station, they didn't have what was it, the gondola, what's it called? There's a name for the window. It's like 5 different windows. It's the gondola or something like that. They got a name for it. He goes, when I first went up there, they didn't have it, but then they had it the second time I went up. And then Joe goes, they built that shit? How did they do that? And then he's like, yeah, we just, we just had a little module. They just put another module, and like, you built that shit up there. There's no video of dragging that thing up, and it's just floating there. Oh, we're just floating. We're just fucking floating. Nobody's falling. You're just floating up there. There's no video of the construction. The fuck out of here with that.
Now,
that's ridiculous.
Let me ask you something. This is, and then the laws of physics, I felt, were created to make it so you couldn't understand anything past what they wanted you to know.
Exactly.
So they create these laws, and they're like, if anything doesn't fall under these laws of physics, it's not possible. And then all these people, these scientists, ran with it. And to me, it's like there's tons of things that don't fit into the laws of physics that I think exist. But because you're telling me these, it's basically set the framing. And anything outside this framing can't be real because it doesn't fit within the frame. And that's done on purpose.
Absolutely.
3.5 months. And
I'm already there, dude.
You haven't admitted it yet. You haven't admitted. How close are you? A couple months? 5 months?
I'm not married to the ball. That's it.
So you don't. When someone says, "Are you a flat earther?" you say no.
I'm not married to the ball. Exactly. I got that
You
term
just say,
from you.
I'm not married to the ball.
Yeah.
So you're not a flat earther yet.
No, not yet.
Dude, I held on for like a year and a half. I wouldn't say. I go, I don't know what we're on. I don't know. It could, but I'm just.
That's where I'm at right now.
I don't believe we want to move. So, like you said, if that's NASA, then NASA's showing me that we're a globe. So it's one of those things where it's like, do I believe one or the other?
Yeah.
So it's like,